Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good day, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. We hope that you'll get on the bus with us as we celebrate episode 57. This is a show with our expert correspondents from United Kingdom, as well as the star of our show, DIANN, FLOYD, BOEHM. Let's welcome them and find out what everybody's been eating, because we always talk about food. Welcome, DIANN, FLOYD, BOEHM, to the program. Hello.
It's great to see you, Dr. JACALYN.
Great to see you too, and so glad that you made it back to your other home safely. I was enjoying all of the pictures of your traveling. Very exciting.
Thank you. Our country is so beautiful, isn't it? I feel blessed.
I feel blessed to be able to see it through you. So thank you for sharing that with us.
But, you know, our country is gorgeous, but oh my goodness, the United Kingdom, wow, everybody needs to make sure they go to all the places in the United Kingdom. Gorgeous.
Not only is the United Kingdom beautiful, but so are our panelists. They're so beautiful outside and inside. Let's welcome the lovely, delightful Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi, everybody. So lovely to see you. Thank you. Always such a lovely introduction. We're all lovely. Hey.
For sure. And let's welcome our handsome friend, Mr. Ian Pelham Turner. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone from London. Well, it's warm. It's warmer in London today. I think Helena will agree. Anything can be warmer. And we're ready and we're bouncing along to tell you all the latest stories about the royal family.
Can't wait to hear it. And loving your haircut, by the way. Very nice. And let us welcome Mr. Simon MacDonald, the dapper, polished gentleman, joins us. Hello.
Thank you. It's lovely to be back. I'm sorry I missed the bus last week, Jacqueline, but here we are. I waited at the stop, and I'm on board this time as well. With all the doom and gloom from Scotland, the weather, it's actually getting quite warm today. It's a lovely 6 degrees, which doesn't sound very much. I think about 45, 48 degrees in Fahrenheit. But the sun was shining this morning, so it felt warm. It was beautiful. Everybody went out and said, let's hit the beach. There we go.
I feel like as long as we can see the sun, when the sun's not out, then it's just another whole story. But I want to just get to it right away. Let's talk about food. Let's get it out of the way so we can talk about anything else. Who wants to share what they're eating, a food story? I'll just share that I just broke my 22-hour fast that I was doing. I was going to go 24 hours, but I started shaking. So now I'll be going another 22 hours. So that's my story, nothing else. Who wants to share?
I just wonder whether Helena would like to talk about pancakes.
Well, I don't know. I think that's probably more your topic because you're a pancake man. Shrove Tuesday and chocolate and sprinkles. I was actually going to go the other way. I was going to go the other way in that, although it's nothing to be too worried about, we have I don't know if it's the same with you. So we have a national shortage of fresh fruit and veg. And I didn't realise, but I was in the supermarket, and this was a week ago, and I thought, where on earth is all our fruit and veg? So it's come up that obviously down to bad weather in North Africa and Europe, we really don't have that much fruit. And then it sort of made me think, goodness me, is there a way that we could change the way we eat? Do we have to get loads of things and freeze fruit and things and keep it in the freezer. But we're not really used to that. But I can understand, obviously, as well with the cost of living, and obviously it takes greenhouses and electricity to grow things over here. But it just is an interesting thought process. But obviously, it's not going to be for too long.
I hope not. What kind of fruits and vegetables do you like, Helena?
Oh,
Yeah.
One of my
I was yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll go. So I love fruit. It's actually one of my downfalls. Although fruit is healthy, I love it. I eat it all the time, and I need to stop eating as much. And I love vegetables as well. I will eat everything. There's not much I dislike, and I'm lucky that I actually really like healthy food. But I know that you can't have too much fruit, because no matter, it's healthy, but it also has sugar in it.
It's better than brownies and pie.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ian.
The royal story I was trying to say yesterday was that Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, was trying to make pancakes on Pancake Day in Britain. And it took her several minutes to scrape the pancake off the pan and try and flip it in the air. And when it came out, I just hope that she's not cooking for William last night, because they'd all be in trouble with it. But there was a very quick, interesting story about we have a thing called Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Day. And basically, we have races where people line up with a frying pan and a pancake, and they have to race a certain distance, flipping the pancake as they go. It's called pancake races. And apparently, I was learning last night that basically this started from a lady going back, I think, into the 18th century, where one day she realized that she was going to miss her church service one Sunday, and so she ran down the street with her bonnet on, her hat on, and she was still flipping her pancake as she got to the church. And so this apparently is the story behind why we actually British people do all sorts of eccentric things, and why we actually run down the street flipping pancakes on a Shrove Tuesday.
I wish I could see this, Ian. I wish I could see you running down the street flipping pancakes. Will you do that for us?
Indeed.
If I can just add as well to the story about Kate, so it was almost all over the headlines. It was Kate's pancake flipping flops, and she'd visited a nursing home, and obviously she had all the media attention, all the cameras were on her. I mean, she is actually an incredible chef. She's a very good cook. And obviously there she is, and the cameras are on her. And she tried really hard, but it ended up being a bit of a thick, congealed, whatever mess, although she did manage to flip it. But there is something I would say, which is interesting, that is it the pan or is it the batter? And obviously, if you're used to your own cooking utensils and heat on your own cooker, I mean, she was in this nursing home where she was, just put there and positioned. But there is a skill, I think, in knowing your own tools, as they say. So I sort of felt quite sorry for her, but she took it as she normally does. In jest.
I guess it's the pan, the batter, or the flipper. So it sounds like
combination, right?
I don't think you should sign her up for the United Kitchens. Not with those culinary skills.
By the way, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you coming back or not?
I don't know yet. I mean, my time schedule these days is just getting fuller and fuller and fuller. I'd love to do it. So watch this space. Yeah. But no, pancakes are lovely. I've always liked them as well, at any time of the day or night, for that matter. But not just the sweet pancakes with lashings of maple syrup and so on, but a savoury pancake as well. Absolutely delicious. Fill it with, sorry, Ian, smoked salmon and peppered cream cheese. It is just to die for. Absolutely amazing. Really, really superb. And of course, pancakes come in all different thicknesses. In France, crepe, which is a very, very thin pancake about the size of a pizza in diameter, but very, very thin. The Scotch pancake is maybe about 4 inches, 5 inches in diameter at the most, and about ½ an inch thick. So it is quite a thick one. Tends to be a bit sweeter than most, but they are so versatile, so delicious. Yeah, I love them.
I was just about to say that it's the rich Scottish who can afford to have smoked salmon on their pancakes.
I was going to say, it sounds like something you'd get at a 5-star resort.
Oh, well, no, I had to get the smoked salmon in somewhere for you, Ian, as well. Just to remind you it still exists.
I remember back in the day when I was married, we would go to this diner, you sit at the counter, so much fun, and we would get chocolate chip pancakes that would have like a whole stack of, like, the butter was this much, and then you have the syrup, and then under the glass dome was this big chocolate cake, like 8 layers. So I would have the chocolate chip pancakes and then the cake. Oh, bad.
I was thinking those were the days.
And look at the size you are. I mean, I don't really.
That was 1993. You can't do that anymore. Forget it. I'm down to 1 meal a day now. So.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's go on to the news. What kind of news do we have in addition to the pancake flipping?
Okay, I'm going to start with.
Right.
So who would like to be a chief secret keeper?
Oh,
sounds quite good. Something there.
Yeah, I could do it.
So it's the royal family. They always put out, jobs, obviously, that they need. So, and this is what they're looking for. But actually, it is they're looking for someone who could be like an archive curator, and it's to actually keep secret the Queen's all her papers, etc. So it's all her closely guarded opinions, I guess, and correspondence and things over the last 70 years, which I think is absolutely fascinating. I mean, it is something I think for 3 people, but obviously the chief secret keeper is the one at the top. I think it's fascinating. I don't think I'd want to do that as a full-time job, but wouldn't it be great just to be able to just peep at all these things going back, all personal opinions and things? I think it's lovely. Anyway, so there you go. For anyone who fancies it.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Go. Yep, go.
My question is, I've always thought it's fascinating about who can keep secrets and who can't. And you always hear this, Diane, I'm going to tell you something, but you've got to keep it a secret. I just said I'd keep it a secret. Now I'm asking you to keep it a secret. Then you ask someone else, and then there's no one's keeping any secrets, right?
I think if you took this job, it'd be off with your head if you broke the secret.
Yeah, exactly, at the tower.
I wonder whether or not the position is for the round tower at Windsor Castle, because it's the round tower at Windsor Castle that holds all the state secrets. Anything of written value or anything at all is held in the round tower, and newspapers have been trying for 15 years under the Freedom of Information Act to actually get into the round tower to find out what's been going on with the royal family. So I wonder whether this new position is actually curator inside the round tower.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. And you know what's a great way to keep a secret? Just lock someone in isolation and take away all of their devices. They have no way of communicating with anyone, right? And then the secret.
Crazy.
Yeah. But nobody gets the secrets.
Absolutely mad. Yeah.
Absolutely mad.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that, though, is that it would eradicate 95% of journalists in the world.
I was going to say,
all right,
you're a journalist for that job.
I think one of the biggest values or one of the biggest traits of being a journalist is you have to be nosy. You know, I mean, you know, I entered this profession, actually a lot of the time just to find out what other people are doing. So I have this nosy DNA within me. So that I think that's what helps make us a great journalist. We want to find out the real truth on a story.
So would you say?
Can I say one thing? So I'm also nosy, so it goes with my work. But whenever I speak to Ian, he always says, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know." And this is our conversation. And he says he doesn't know anything.
Oh.
So this is an odd one.
No wonder you get along so well.
Helena asks me questions a lot of the time, and you know, the reality with me is I am nosy about stories that are of public interest, and so I think there is that. But when it comes to people's private lives, you know, I don't ask questions. It's as simple as that, you know, and it's always been my way. So you know, it's like you know, do you know, one of the first questions any woman asks me is, "How old was my friend? How old is she? How old is she?" I never ask any woman her age at all. Never. You know. You know. And so it's like, well, I don't know how old she is. You know.
Well, the next question comes, well, how old do you think she is? Is she between 30 and 40, right?
There you go.
What did her skin look like?
That's even worse than trying to guess the age. You know, you guess the age just to yourself. Don't blurt out what you think the age is. You're bound to get into big trouble then. It's even worse.
I was going to say you may not survive.
Yeah, well, then the next comment is if you say she looks younger, then it's like, well, she's had a lot of work. What do you expect?
The tactful response is to say you are wearing well.
I think that it highlights the difference between men and women, doesn't it? I do think so. Is that book, isn't there? With something
Venus,
Mars. Yeah, that's it. There's definitely a slight difference in there. Without, I hope no one thinks that's sexist, but I definitely think it. There's a difference between my female friends and my male friends, absolutely, which I find quite funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so too. I think so too. So we've discussed food very quickly, and now we're talking about age and gossiping and secrets. What else is going on in the news?
The royal family, right?
We've got. I mean, okay, just this is slightly diverted, but not in a way, just because we were talking about Queen Elizabeth II. So we've had the 76th annual BAFTA Awards here in the UK, which was really good fun, and it was held at the Royal Festival Hall. I have a story about myself actually, slightly there. It was a bit of an embarrassing situation, but so that's the British Academy Television Awards, and it was held. We had the Prince and Princess of Wales. I find it very hard. I want to say the Duke and Duchess, but I think we had a lovely time with lots of people turned up. But one of the nicest things for me was Helen Mirren, who's a very well-known actress here, which, as you will know her, she was given a BAFTA for her performance as Queen Elizabeth. And she also gave a fantastic tribute to Queen Elizabeth as well. And she even said that when she was rehearsing, she was crying. It was really quite moving. And it was also lovely to see that Prince William was also quite tearful. And it was... I have it here. I'm just going to, just a part of it. It was just, she's had so much involvement, Queen Elizabeth, with BAFTA and films. And I just think it's quite pertinent to speak about her, but I'm just going to read it. Actually, it's on the screen here. So, cinema at its best does what Her Majesty did effortlessly. Brings us together, or brought us together, and united us through a story. Your Majesty, you were our nation's leading star, and then BAFTA would not be what it is today without your loyal support. She absolutely believed in it and loved it and met all the stars and talked about all the different cultures and everything. So, I mean, she was sadly missed, but it was a really lovely, that's just part of the speech, only a little bit. But it was a beautiful performance and obviously lots of awards. And I think it's probably similar somehow to what you have in the States as well, but obviously the UK version. And BAFTA, it actually is a place as well that's in Piccadilly. It's a wonderful place that you can visit, and they hold wonderful events there as well. So if anyone wants to celebrate or, you know, invite people for a viewing, it's a wonderful place. And it's somewhere I used to hold events as well a few years ago. It's a fabulous thing. That was our 76th annual BAFTA Awards.
I saw highlights of that, and yes, that speech was amazing. And then I also heard that Princess Kate's dress, it was a dress that she had reworked, and it was just stunning. Is that correct? What was stated over here about her gown? Do you know?
Yeah, it definitely is, and she's known for that. She's known for recycling her outfits. And in fact, her earrings, which were some kind of waterfall earrings, were I think they were from Zara or somewhere she always buys things that are quite, you notice them and you expect them to be really expensive, but they were something like £15, something like that. And she wore, and how lovely that she wore them to the award ceremony. And you think, you know, lots of people you'd imagine, you know, in the royal family would turn up wearing something glitzy and very expensive, but it's always a very simple thing that she turns up in.
How do you think she does her shopping? Do you think it's online, or do you think people come to the like? How does that work? Does she actually go out in public and shop?
She's known to be going. She does go shopping. I would say recently, I haven't had an update, but I know in the last previous to 2 years ago, I suppose, that she used to pop out, and she's known to take her children out shopping. She'll turn up, whether it's, you know, it's normally prior to school, and she'll buy the pencils and the, you know, all the things for school. So she does do her little things. She's really quite normal, which is refreshing, I think.
Absolutely.
And I think in earlier years, she was photographed running down King's Road, which is one of our most famous roads in Chelsea. And in her basket was a lot of pizzas. And so, you know, you know, I in a lot of ways, she's just a normal housewife herself, or she tries to be. Obviously, these days, security is more important. But when she could get away with it, she would just pop into shops. And I was watching a program the other night where she actually one day caught a bus. And there was a photograph of her looking out of the window from a bus, very similar to the buses that you've got above your head as well. So it just goes to show that what, you know, where USA goes today, Kate goes tomorrow.
So I think we were talking on one of the other episodes about the bus itself. Do you still have buses that look like this, double-decker buses? I know when I was in London, I was on one of them.
Well, that's a very modern bus you've got there on the on the screen. Yes, we've got lots of them, all different shapes and sizes and colours as well. So each area has its own specific colours. In London is you know, that famous post office red. Edinburgh, it's a sort of maroon or burgundy colour and cream. You know, so each city and each town has a different set of colours. So it's just a sort of aid memoir, so you know where you are approximately in the planet.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. Helena flipped out of it. She left.
She's just rushing for a bus now, you see, isn't her?
Oh, wait, hold the bus.
I'm with these buses. There's a thing called the Boris bus, which was really started by Boris Johnson, our former Prime Minister. And at one stage, he brought a new type of, I don't know whether it's hydrogen or whether it's an electric bus to London. And each one of these buses cost £1 million to actually create and build as well. And there was a bit of an outcry at the time. And it has so many different exits and entrances to this bus as well. But he tried to bring in, I think, the bus of the future. And so he was very ecologically friendly, even if he wasn't quite so friendly with his demeanor was at times, when it came to parties. But so yeah, the red bus of London, it is synonymous with London, I think. And as you can rightly say, we all look very splendid and splendid on top of the bus that you have as well. So well done.
Who can you speak to over there to make it official where we all have our faces on the bus?
There you go.
So I'm just curious, do our three friends there in the UK, do you drive or do you take public transportation? I know, Ian, you take public transportation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Helena found me this wonderful flat that is in a very lovely part of London, and literally it's a 2-minute walk to the bus stop, and I can catch the bus or a tube, and I feel absolutely fantastic. And the nicest thing, for many years I've been using the tube, so you miss a lot of London because you're just in a tunnel. So I've started. I started using buses a lot more now and traveling the full journey that I would have done by tube as well on a bus. And you actually see London so much more. It takes a little bit longer, but I think it's very relaxing as well.
Yeah. Well, with me living in a small village somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the west coast of Scotland, I drive. I have to drive to get anywhere from here. Our nearest sort of main shopping town is about an hour and a half drive. And then if I want to be adventurous and go to the big city of Glasgow, then that's about a 2.5 hour drive away. So bus services here are quite thin on the ground. They're cream and red around here, I believe, but they're all the sort of single deck ones, not the big double deckers. And having a car here is actually quite essential in this part of the world. And the nearest railway station from here would be about 2 hours of a drive away.
What about skateboarding?
That's too far to go to skateboarding.
Thank you. Helena, what about you?
All the hills go the wrong way.
Helena, are you on a Harley or are you on a Vespa? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's me on my Harley, absolutely. No, I drive. I do drive, but I also tube and bus. So I think when you're in London, you've got the option of, nipping on the tube, as Ian said, jumping on the bus and seeing all the wonderful. It's beautiful actually traveling by bus because, as Ian said, you see everywhere. And it's beautiful. So yeah, that's a bonus, but also being able to drive is good too because it's very quick.
Yeah, it's good to have options. What was that expression you just said? Nipping the tube?
Nipping.
What did I say?
Nipping on the tube.
I don't remember.
I thought nipping like you've got a brown a paper bag and you're taking a little sip, catnip. There's Helena. She's nipping on the tube again.
So you actually can't take anything on the tube with you. It's something, I don't know when it was brought in. We had a ruling that you can't do that. So no food, beverages, or anything these days. Thank goodness. I mean, I remember those years ago. Oh goodness, when people used to smoke. I can't believe that people smoked. When you think about it now, goodness me.
Yeah.
That's when change is good.
Planes, right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember I was on a flight somewhere. I went from one country to the next. I was on a small plane and they had the last 3 or 4 rows were smoking. And you think of it today, like, how could that even be? Like, nobody else is going to smell the smoke. It's all recirculating. Everyone's like gagging. But that was legal for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, horrible, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you rarely see people smoking now. I mean, my smoking experience is smoking fish, but it's quite difficult to get to light at times. But yes, sorry, Ian, there's the smoked salmon again.
You had to get it in there.
Well, I mean, I reckon that smoking fish is a lot better for you than smoking cigarettes any day.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
So Helena, back over to you to keep us straight.
Okay. But, well, I'm going to bring something up, which again is a talking point. It's something. The majority of Britons say that Prince Harry should have police protection, but he should pay for it. Now, this is a recent story that's come out, and people have been talking about it, but it's more to do with a case which has it began in autumn 2021, I think, the legal case, and we sort of found out information through the Freedom of Information Act. So the government's paid something like 300,000 at the moment towards this case, and they're obviously defending their situation, which is that he shouldn't have it, actually. But what it means, it's not that he shouldn't have it in any shape or form in that sense, but when he comes over to the UK, obviously Frogmore Cottage, where he stays with his wife and obviously with children, is covered, and any formal royal events as well. He will have that support. But the Home Office at Scotland Yard, the protection officers, as has been done for Prince Andrew, and lots of the royals actually don't have the protection. Prince Harry thinks he should have 24/7 protection if he's in the UK. And so it's been a big discussion. I did something on GB News, and I suppose my personal opinion is, well, if you want more protection than you're given, which is quite suitable, there you can get it. It's there. There's lots of people that will help out. There's lots of companies, and also I do know that Prince Andrew's, as I mentioned, his was stopped, and I know that the King Charles actually pays for his, so there could be something worked out within the family. But again, it's a story, and it's sort of taking up time, and it costs money, and you think, goodness me. I think security obviously is important, and if you feel that you need more security, well, you can go and get that security.
There's plenty of companies who'd be happy to help, for sure.
Yes, the more security you need, the less security you have in yourself, I suppose. It balances out that way. I need more security. I'm secure, yes.
Can I ask a question that I was saying it because Helen and I were discussing this subject yesterday or the day before. I've heard that Harry has already been signed up to comment on the coronation in America, but I don't know whether I dreamt that, or I'm sure I saw there was some sort of announcement on American television that he'd been signed up by one of the channels to actually be the commentator on the coronation itself. Has anybody heard that in America?
I didn't want to say anything, but he's coming here on this platform. No, kidding. No, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, he's in the room right now.
We just keep reading that he's still trying to decide if he's going to come or not.
I think there is some fact in what Ian was saying, is that there's been talk about the fact that there's lots of, NBC, lots of channels that think, oh, it'd be great if he could come and be a commentator. I mean, it would be a really poor show, I think, if he did. But, these things happen. But nothing's been signed. There's no document that's been signed and sealed. It's not confirmed at all. And I think everyone, our colleagues, people in the circle, were all sort of wondering what the situation is, whether he is going to be coming over. Let's see.
Yeah.
Helena, I'm wondering, are there tickets that people can purchase to go to the coronation, or is it by invitation only?
It's absolutely invitation only. The security around it, I mean, the diplomats, people coming from abroad, the royal family themselves, I mean, the security and the minutiae detail that goes into this as from yonks ago, is huge. So it's not something you can just turn up and walk in. I mean, obviously you've got the concert and various other things that will be happening as well, but the actual being there for the whole thing. I would love to get an invite. I'm waiting for it still.
I'm writing it out for you right now, Helena.
Perhaps if he got a press pass, he might feel assured of being able to get a seat in the door somehow or other. I don't know. But it's going to be an incredible event. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime event. This, so I think we're all looking forward to the day, and it's not far away. The clock is ticking. Before then, in Scotland, we've got our own set of problems here as well. Not quite a coronation, but we're looking for a new First Minister. Answers in a postcard, please. We have 3 candidates in the running at the moment. It all closes on Friday, so all candidates have to be declared by then. But we've only got 3 at the moment. One is the Health Minister, Humza Yousaf. The other is the Finance Minister, Kate Forbes. And the other one, her name eludes me, but she's a member of Scottish Parliament anyway. My apologies to her if she happens to be watching, but I think she'll be busy today. But so last Wednesday, Nicola Sturgeon, our First Minister, announced her resignation, which came as quite a shock, I think, to most people, slightly predictable, I think, to others. But she's leaving really more on a bit of a high, although there's been a lot of controversy recently. But she's said, well, it's her personal life she's needing time for as well. She just felt it's right for the country that she should be going now. But there's all sorts of panics going on now. What's this going to do to the independence issue which we have? Will the independence referendum still be able to be put into place? Will it work, or people are going to fall away? So all the balls are up in the air at the moment. But it would appear that Humza Yousaf is the front runner at the moment. Some people would say that Kate Forbes, the finance minister, is, but she's been quite vocal in her opinions about a controversial bill which was put through the Scottish Parliament recently regarding same-sex marriage. And she is a devout Christian of the Free Church of Scotland, and they are pretty strict on their views. So that has been raising a few eyebrows, shall we say, in many places. So watch this space. It remains to be seen what is going to happen. What will happen as far as Scotland's future as a race for independence goes? There's so many questions still to be asked and still to be answered. So there we are. So that's what's been occupying quite a bit of my time in Scotland as well, because there's so many different factors that rely on it. Reshuffle of government ministers. I mean, our Fisheries minister, who I've worked very, very closely with for the past 3 or 4 years, will she still have that position, or will she be shuttled onto somewhere else and we get a new Fisheries minister? So there's a lot of preparation and and just putting the guards in place and trying to sort of figure out in advance what if and when.
We actually thought maybe you were in the running. That's why you weren't here.
I would only be running for a bus, and that's highly unlikely as well. But I'm quite closely involved with a lot of the goings on in Holyrood. So yeah, it's amazing. We've got Holyrood and you've got Hollywood. It's quite easy to get the two mixed up and so on. But a lot of people sort of say, well, in Holyrood it's as much play acting as going on in Hollywood. So there we are.
That's funny.
It's funny. It's also funny we're out of time. Where did it go? I know. It's
already
20 minutes to the top of the hour. Helena, any other news that's pressing that you want to share?
I mean, there's always news. There's always. I mean, there was just one thing that I was going to bring up if we had more time. I'll just mention it quickly, which is the whole Roald Dahl censorship row. I don't know if you've all heard about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like the new choice of language that, you know, people are trying to edit all these old books that are so fantastic. Even the Big Friendly Giant, I think it's the Big Friendly Giant, the BFG. You know, to trying to change certain words because we're all too woke now, and it's all too, you know, these words can't be used, and they're changing them. And I know even Rishi Sunak has come in and has been speaking about, you know, in a way how ridiculous it is. And I think it's gobbledygook or something is the word which the BFG uses, which is just don't mess around with words. And that's absolutely how I feel. You know, it gets to a point that it becomes silly. Everything's being so controlled, and sometimes words give so much meaning just by one word. And I also know that Google also has changed their words. It's become very PC. But you take away the creativity, you take away a lot of whatever it is that the author has put into the book. And I don't agree with it. I mean, some of these words they're changing are absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know who has the authority to do that. That's what
are some of the words?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think now. Okay, so the BFG is known to wear a big black coat, big black cloak, not coat. So you take away the word black, so you can't say black. Small things you can't. It's I suppose things like fat, ugly, certain words that we all know about, but I think people, you almost wonder whether it's the publishers or the estates that are actually doing this and are trying to be more woke so they think they can sell more books. I mean, that's my thought process. But children are vibrant. They are actually really clued up. They don't, you know, they don't have that scaredy cat kind of view. They want things to be a bit more rock and roll, and they, you know, they need excitement. So I just feel to come in and to just start editing books that have done so well over the years. What's going on with our world? I mean, I'm all up for debate and, you know, negotiating things, but come on, I feel.
Yeah, the one that got me is the words that were described, the fat boy, and it has been rewritten now as the enormous boy. I think I'd rather be known as being a little bit fat rather than enormous. But it is crazy. I mean, when you write a book, you write those words because they're meaningful to the topic you're writing about. You know, and then you don't want somebody to come along, you know, and slap you on the wrist and say, "Oh, you can't say that," and so I'm going to rewrite your book. You know, excuse me, I wrote it, and these words are put in specifically and thought about, and that's what I want. And I think, you know, I think that's the way it is. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I think people too much time on their hands.
Yeah, I think that time could be better used to create something new instead of try to undo what's already been created.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
And just quickly as well, that normally from the age of about 12, boys actually stop reading, and then they don't tend to pick up a book till much later on. And you know, I think to change things and almost flatten a book, I mean, we need things that our youngsters and especially boys are going to be excited about picking up, and they're going to want to read. And by doing that, I mean, you know, where do we stop? It's really wrong. We have to infuse people. And again, as I feel, it's not good. It's not the way forward.
You know, what's interesting is that for those who are writing new content, is there some book of rules that we're supposed to use about words we can and cannot use? Because if they're undoing what's already been written, what about what's currently being written?
Oh, they'll let you.
Okay.
They'll let
you better
you know.
get on top of that, Diane, right away.
But it also makes everyone.
I think it's a tragedy. I think it's a tragedy. His books have so much flavor and musical and poetry to it that what briefly they've said over here in the changing of vocabulary takes away the whole rhythm of many of his books. So I was really sad to hear it.
Yeah.
And if they do it to an author who is so famous and has done so many incredible works that I can't imagine what they're going to do to somebody else coming along. So, but yeah, what is happening to the world?
Well, I know what's happening to us because we're closing down. So.
Oh no, surely not.
I'm spiritual.
So much to talk about. Oh.
Let's just go around as we always do. And anything you want to share with the audience? I'll start with Diann.
Oh my goodness. To enjoy life, whether it's freezing cold, burning up, wherever you are, on which side of the equator, just enjoy the day and be grateful that you have air in your lungs.
And Diann, by the way, you seem to have gotten the best seat on the bus now that I'm looking at it.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. On to Ian Pelham Turner.
Well, very, very shortly, I hope JACALYN and myself are going to meet in Florida.
I'm very excited.
Which I am so pleased and honored to actually meet as well. And, I'll introduce you to a few of the people who I'm working with out there at the same time. For me, I think at the moment, the reality is that so much is going on in this world, and I hope that this year becomes a much more positive and happy year.
Amen to that. Thank you so much. Helena.
I feel I'm really looking forward to celebrations that are coming up. I'll change that. I just think anything is possible, and anything that you want to achieve, you should go for. But I think more and more, even just talking about what we were talking about, Roald Dahl, etc., that even if you have to negotiate and compromise, you can actually achieve what you want to achieve.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you. And Simon, what do you have to say?
Well, all I can add on to what Helen is saying there just now is that the sky is not the limit when there are footprints on the moon.
Fantastic. I love it. Thank you. And for me, I guess I could say this is very uplifting. Yesterday, we started our first show, which was about dementia. And I've got a slide for that. Dementia Home Care is one of our new shows. From there, we went over to suicide. And then from there, we went over to grief. So this has been really uplifting. And what I want to share with people is if you're interested in taking a look at your lifestyle, we're starting a new show today, myself and Roland Friedel. It's called It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. We're going to be talking about everything that really constitutes a healthy lifestyle as opposed to picking and choosing. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to go for a run. Then I'm going to go back to what I was doing. How can we pick a healthy lifestyle that's something that we can maintain? And then we're also launching our private membership only group, which is It's Your Healthy Living on our website, usaglobaltv.com. So that's all I have for that. So join us today at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 7 p.m. Central European time. And I don't know what time it'll be on the moon, but if you are on the moon, you want to watch, we hope you'll figure it out. Okay. Thank you so much for now. We'll be back in just a few minutes with I'm Spiritual But. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.